Someone asked me recently, what's the easiest steal in basketball? I told them the passing lane steal, and then I realized afterwards I didn't really know why. Sure, they're the most common, about 64% of NBA steals happen off the ball, but the same players keep showing up again and again. Was it just anticipation or was there something more? So I went back and I watched the film. I froze it right before those steals, and I stopped looking at the ball and I started looking at everything else. That's when I realized I've been thinking about this steal the complete wrong way. What if this isn't primarily an anticipation problem, but a mechanical one? And that's the difference between being a few inches away from the steal and going the other way. So I pulled every passing lane steal I had, about 100 of them, and froze them all at the same moment. Different players, different teams, but the same frame. And almost every defender looked exactly the same. Not in the defensive stance I was used to, but look at their back foot. Almost every great passing lane steal starts with this same stance. The back foot turned out almost perpendicular to the passing lane. That angle is important because the only way you can get a passing lane steal is if you can create instant acceleration. And biomechanically, that's exactly what this stance is doing. It's loading the hips and ankles so the defender can explode forward at a moment's notice, without a reset step or a gather step. And this is where it got fun for me, and I fell down an entire rabbit hole, because there's an entire sport dedicated to this stance, and that's fencing. At its core, how to cover a short amount of distance explosively and ready to attack. Fencers call this starting stance en garde, but even more importantly is how they talk about the movement out of this stance. A fencer has two main movements out of it. The first is a lunge, where they push off their back foot, but honestly, that's not what I was seeing in these clips. What these steals resembled much closer was what's called a fletch, a fully committed forward propulsion attack. In a fletch, the body doesn't step politely into space, it projects into space. One saying that I love that I came across was that the body becomes an arrow. There's no turning back at that point, and that's exactly what the best steal getters are doing. The back foot is the trigger, but once it's fired, the defender isn't just reaching, they're moving their entire body through that passing lane. This is why so many players probably miss these steals by inches. They're trying to steal it with their arm or with a lunge, but the ball is way too fast for that. You have to become the arrow. The rear foot loaded, turned out, and ready to fire. But there's even more than just a loaded rear foot that I noticed, because here's the most counterintuitive part. Almost all of these steals started with the defender's hands down. Not active, not denying, down. It's not bad defense, it's deception. It reminded me a lot of an ESPN feature on Rajon Rondo when he was leading the league in steals, where they talked about him lurking in the shadows. He was trying to make the pass feel safe, make it look open, almost invite the pass before pouncing on it. But the hands being down is just a small part of this deception. The bigger part is that the defenders start almost close enough to steal the pass altogether. But because their hands are down, well, the pass feels a little comfortable. But the more we watch these plays, we need to reframe what a passing lane steals looks like. It's not a player running and jumping a passing lane, it's a player who's already there, ready to attack, ready to strike. And this is where the fletch idea fully completes itself. Because once the pass is thrown, the defender doesn't just step into the passing lane, the upper body goes too, and that forward lean turns the body into that arrow metaphor. And that lean alone can extend a player's reach by 1.5 to 2 times without even moving the feet. So put it all together, that rear foot is loaded and turned out, the defender is already inches from the passing lane, their hands are down to sell safety, and once the passer commits, the body projects forward like an arrow. And that's why these steals don't always look like gambles, they sometimes look inevitable. But there's one thing that's still important to make clear. The backdoor can always burn you, especially if you get off balance or you start ball watching. That's why anticipation still matters to this steal, anticipating where that pass is going next, when that swing, or where the offense is looking to go next. But anticipation alone doesn't guarantee the steal. It gives you the moment, and the mechanics decide whether you can actually take it. Because if you're not already loaded, already close enough, and already deceiving the passer, well, you can read the pass perfectly and still miss it. And that's the illusion at the heart of this play. It's not a highlight reel gamble, it's a repeatable maneuver. That's why the same players keep showing up. They're loaded early, they sell safety, and when the passer commits, it's time to pounce. And if you want to see how this concept fits into an entire steals blueprint of how you can average 4 steals a game, well, check out our steals blueprint video. And I'll give you a hint, this steal is most effective in quarter number 1, but there's still 3 more quarters that you need to look to get steals in. So if you want to learn more, check out that video now, and make sure to like and subscribe to the channel for even more defensive content. As always, I'm Coach Mike with Lockdown Defense. Keep up the hard work.